Nathalie Garson, let me be the 1,000th person to congratulate you on 3 days of running a global online leadership summit for women from around the world with a focus on business, on the personal side of business, on the spiritual side of community, and the feminine aspect of all of these. Mazal tov, mabruk, well done, good on ya. That's pretty much all the languages that I have at my.
Thank you so much, Helen. I have to say that I'm really looking forward to sitting back and letting you lead the interview and asking the questions, and I'm ready to answer any questions that you have.
Well, I was thinking that we could just like sit back and like meditate for a few minutes, because I think anybody who's been putting in the kind of work that you have for the last 3 days, I'm delighted to hear that you had the day off today. I think that you should take the next like couple of years off, frankly. I'm thinking like an island getaway, perhaps your own island.
Yeah, I could consider that, but I don't consider what I do work, so it's a problem. I enjoy it so much that I don't know what I would do on an island. I think I would just continue doing what I do.
Well, how about an island with really good internet connection? How would that work?
Yes. Then I'm on, no problem.
I'm in.
Can I interview women too when I'm on the island?
I don't know. Well, we can negotiate. We can negotiate going forward. So, Nathalie, beyond the enormous physical effort of running this event hour after hour, which you know, even with all the love in the world, it's an effort. Beyond a well-earned sense of tiredness and satisfaction, what else are you feeling? How are you?
Wow. Much more complex than I thought. I thought that this was going to be like you said, a physical effort, a business effort, a team effort. But really it has been a stepping out of my comfort zone effort. And not in the way that people think. I mean, we did have over 350 people register, with 14 speakers and everything that everyone knows. But it was much more between me and myself, the stepping out of the comfort zone. And I'm grateful because I feel like I've reached a different level with this summit, and it's something that I had to check for myself, and now I did it. And so we always talk about how when we go out of our comfort zone, it feels uncomfortable. First of all, it's scary, and it doesn't matter how much we talk about it; it's always different than what you expect. So that is my lesson for this summit.
So really interesting for people like me to hear that you found this a stretch and you found it stressful and there were elements that were uncomfortable, because, of course, one of the questions that I have lined up for you is, how did you manage to be so calm and so warm and so welcoming all those times throughout all of those interviews? I also want to jump in and share, I can't see the chat.
Right. And I'm seeing the chat, so as soon as I see a question, I will tell you the question.
Oh, no, I can see now I've gone over to StreamYard, and I can see Facebook user.
Right, user. That's what, when people don't register, that's what you see.
Okay. So whoever said Helen rocks, thank you. I will now be taking over this evening, and the rest of the time will actually all be about me. So thank you to whoever said that now. Completely appropriate. Thank you. It's truly all about me. Love it. Makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. So what was the stretch for you, Nathalie? Like, can you be more specific? I'll share that as somebody who is also, working in the public space a little bit. I love specific. When you say stretch, what do you mean? Break it down.
Yeah, I would love to. Well, people think that the stretch or the effort is, the actually getting the participants or the technical side of things, or getting everything to work and the right, the logistics of it all. But frankly, that's not the hard thing for me. I have to say, this is where I know how to organize a project. I know how to manage a project, and when my vision is clear, things unfold, and I know exactly how to get people on board, and everything was really smooth throughout the summit and even before. The stretch was more between me and myself, like I said. The summit was a way for me to realize a dream that I've had for 2 years, like I said. It wasn't a dream that I kept on talking about it all the time. It was always in the back of my mind. I wanted to do something with Jewish women entrepreneurs. I knew that I wanted to connect people. I knew that I wanted people to talk to each other. I knew that I wanted to talk about Jewish identity, talking about Israel. All those themes were like pieces of puzzles that were, hanging around. And I knew I would do something about it one day. Just like the book that I'm writing, which is about that as well. And so everything was connected, and it made total sense to when I had the idea of the summit to just go ahead with it. But what happened during the summit was that when you reach that stage that you've done the thing that you've thought about doing for so long, you are, all of a sudden you're scared. There's fear. Okay, so what now? What now? What is the, okay, so I'm able to do it. And so what does it mean of the expectation that either, people are going to have of me, or that I will have of myself, or what is the next stage, or will I be able to live up to the expectation? And I'm very happy, by the way, to share this, because I was talking to another speaker of the summit, and we were observing how people don't speak about how they're vulnerable. We speak about how we succeed and how we did it and how it's amazing. And I love it, of course. I love everyone that said it's amazing. But I think it's important to say also that there's always the vulnerable side of things, that, even if everything looks amazing, inside there are always those questions. And it doesn't matter at what level we are, or I am at least. I felt that this was catching up with me. And like I said, I did not expect it. I really did not expect it.
Beautiful. I will share that for me, this for me is you stepping up and really demonstrating the power of your leadership, Nathalie, because for me, one of the strongest moments that any of the speakers shared was when they were vulnerable, when Fran Jakubowicz shared that, she began from such a small place, and she was just trying to, they didn't have jobs. So what were they going to do when she started a little bit like this? And then they were like, well, we can't do this. We need to take on someone else. And that vulnerability that she shared in her story. Or Justine Zwirling, surely one of the most accomplished, extraordinary people that I've had the pleasure of meeting. And she spoke with such vulnerability about things that have hampered her, held her back, her imposter syndrome. Like Justine Zwirling, hello, Justine Zwirling, imposter syndrome. Justine Zwirling, didn't know she had this, didn't know she had dyslexia until later in life. Such vulnerability, such honesty, such integrity. So I love hearing you share not just what was bright and shining and strong, but what it really means for you also to step up and say, this is my vision. I've been thinking about this for 2 years, and now I'm here, and now I'm like, intake of breath. I'm afraid. Will I be able to live up to these expectations? My own expectations, the noise that I've created. What will it be like when I actually do this big thing? And that for me is a profound lesson for all of us here, even after these 3 days of summit, because that's absolutely about entrepreneurship. It's about risk taking. It's about the personal side, or the cost or the effort involved in building something that is imbued with risk, as well as kind of like the spiritual strength of saying, yes, I'm going to do it anyway, because you use the language of vision. Nathalie, I think that's a beautiful place for me to go to my next question, and beyond the congratulations and recognition of this extraordinary thing that you've shared. leading on from the note of vulnerability, what else would you say was specifically feminine about this event? Like, that's your you know, the thing that you broadcast that is consistent in all the messaging, your icon here of the 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 women at the top of our screen right now, it's on my left. You know, what would you say was specifically feminine about this event that you created?
Well, I'll tell you, it was really feminine, not only in what everyone saw on the outside. Obviously, it was women interviewed, and obviously we had one man that did present that movie, She's That Woman. So yes, on the outside, everything was about really, the women leadership. But I have to say, it's not only the what, it's also the how. It's how the event was organized. It's the behind the scene, the WhatsApp group that we had with women speakers that I started just to be able to share messages, and the support, and the collaboration, and the help, and like I said, when I shared my vulnerability, the support that I got, because I did ask for help. And that's something I wanted to say. When you do feel vulnerable, don't stay by yourself. Don't think you're the only one. I know I hesitated because I was supposed to be the leader of this event. So how can I ask for help? And I did. And I reached out to Andy, and she was there for me, and there was no judgment, and there was no, everyone was there. So I think that, and we even had this conversation, we said, we don't know. I mean, no judgment, because like we said many times, some women have a masculine dimension and some men have a feminine dimension. But in a men-dominated leadership type of world, I think it's more difficult to have this collaboration, this support, there's no competition. And some women, that spoke, some of them could be considered direct or indirect competitor. One of them even said to me, "You want to interview me, but aren't we also some kind of I said, "It's okay. We want to show different faces and different aspects of what we do, and people are going to connect from a different place." And so I think that this, on the organization side, it was really, everything was done for the greater good, and everyone was motivated to really give of themselves. And then on the comment side of what the people, and I know we also had men, a few men, but the people that were participating, everything was only support, and only, being very present, saying when something resonated, sharing feelings. Some people said even like, this is scary, or this is motivating, or this is inspiring. So all this ability of sharing, what we feel, and putting it out there. Even one person said, I don't remember her name, sorry, but it was so many comments. But one person said, I'm going out of my comfort zone, and I'm posting a comment. And I thought it was amazing that not only was she recognizing that for her, posting a comment was going out of her comfort zone, but she was saying it in the comment. So it was, so I felt that this, to answer your question, I felt that this was really the feminine dimension of the event. And I think that's what's beautiful about when women get together and decide to do something together.
Beautiful. So just as a really small aside, I also don't remember her name, but I saw the comment, and I also saw you respond to that comment in real time, that everybody's moving out of their, examining the boundaries of their comfort zone. And for her, that was a stretch. So there is a lot of discussion about toxicity, okay? I have had moments of feeling threatened by other practitioners of the sphere that I occupy professionally, and yet you brought somebody onto your own platform to interview her, and she said, wait, like, how does this make sense? Like, aren't we competitors? And even there, you're like, no, there's enough for everybody. We can expand how much there is. There's always more. We can always go more generous, kinder, softer, more welcoming, less judgmental, more generous. So on the opposite end of toxicity is somebody who brings your kind of framing to this kind of space and says, all I'm going to do is create a platform, and I'm not going to be threatened. I'm going to welcome. I'm going to welcome. I'm going to welcome. I will share that every time I popped in to see what was going what's going down, who was up, what was down with who was up, etc. I'll stop with the attempt at being funny over here. You were continually being welcoming and embracing and not judgmental, and that imbued this whole event with this sense of, we say in Hebrew, shefa, of abundance, of there is more space. You were constantly responsive and kind and generous. All the things that you said this event was, that's because you made it like that. It could have been a completely different event. It's because of what you broadcast consistently, every single interview, over and over and over again.
Wow.
So I will share, as somebody, you know, there were questions. There were no doubt questions that you had to contend with. Nathalie, why can't I speak? Let's go a little bit behind the scenes. How did you, let's go into the dark, murky inner reaches of our feeling threatened and our fear of like not being good enough. Not just will I make it up, live up to the expectation, but somebody's like shaking the bar, you know, the bars of their cage and saying, let me in, let me in. So, Nathalie, tell us a little bit about how you did decide who would be part of your lineup. And it was an extraordinary lineup. I mean, I looked just at that last evening, for example, and it was just like, pew, 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 like rock star after rock star, and like hello, finishing with STS, I ask you, hello, fan club, bing, bing. All right. How did you decide who would be speaking?
So that's a very good question. I started with the people that I know from close, that I know because not only we are colleagues, but we also friends, and so I know them as a person. I started with them, and I started sharing my idea with them, and then what I did is simply I asked people to suggest more people. That's what I did. For example, Sarah Tuttle Singer, I don't know her personally, but Miriam, my good friend, suggested that we get in touch. And I did interview them before the interview, if that makes sense. I did, have a few calls before to find out if we were on the same page, if we, wanted to talk about the same things, if the subject that I wanted to bring about in this global online summit was also something that they were aligned with. And some people, it didn't really match. And so we had the interview, and then, I said, I didn't feel it. I'm very intuitive. So I go with what I feel. And it was really about what they did in terms of the service that they offered, whether, was there an expertise that they can share, or were there a success story that they could, share as, they're embodying an example of something that people could be inspired. So I really had those two angles. Either you have an expertise that you want to share that could help women, be more empowered, but be more inspired, or you have a story by yourself. You have done something. I liked very much the aspect of the online, like people that were able to be online because this is what we're talking about. People that were able to change their career when they came here. So there were different aspects of their career and their journey that I felt that those women were representing. But I want to say, and this is also very important, I am sure that there are maybe not a lot, but at least more women that had a place in this summit. And then we just had the challenge of time. I just had to limit myself and to say we cannot, add another day and add another day. But the good news is, and this is not official yet, but there will be more summits.
Wait. Can we do a drum roll, please?
Do a drum roll, yes.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
And here is the news. Yes.
Yeah. There will be other summits, and my idea that I could share already here is to have summits dedicated to industries, like verticals, so that we can have an event planning summit. We can have all kinds of industries or tourism summits, so that people can also connect in terms of what is their industry, how can we go deeper into each of those industries.
Interesting. I'll share as a participant that for me, the mix was really valuable, really, really valuable. Somebody says here, Rita says, I'm in for more summit time. Like, she's up. She's like, you finished? Let's go.
Let's start again.
Let's go and replay. Somebody else says, it's lovely to know that you brought that vulnerability too, Nathalie. It's what gives you your empathic dimension. That's from the glorious, lovely Fiona Cantor. And
I forgot to mention, sorry, you said, how did I choose my speakers? I mentioned Miriam, but Fiona was very instrumental. Not only did she make the connection with Fleur, she made the connection with Justine. She was amazing. She sent so many emails and she connected and she really worked so hard. So I'm really, really, I said it many times, but I'm saying it again. Thank you, really. That is, yeah. So I forgot also to mention that we had community ambassadors. Because many people came up to me and said, I want to help. I want to help, you know, with the summit. I want to do something. So Yael Kanner was a community ambassador. Miriam, as that I mentioned before, was a community ambassador. Fiona was a community ambassador. We had a call where we all gathered and they sent emails. Yael tried to, you know, hook me with journalists. It was really a team effort. It was really, really a team effort. So
beautiful. It makes sense, Nathalie, that you created a community event and you cultivated a community around you in order to help make that happen. And I love the energy of the people that you brought together, because you really created an extraordinary list of speakers. So I want to actually ask if I'm going to just like push forward, because I know our time is a little bit limited. I would love to know, like, of course, I'm going to ask you, what were your favorite moments? So I'm going to also invite whoever's watching right now, what was your favorite moment? What was something that really resonated with you that you were like, wow, I love that thought. The way that was said so resonates with me. Like, I'll give you a moment just to gather your thinking, Nathalie, and I'll throw in, I loved how Fleur opened by saying, don't ask for a proposal. No one is going down on bended knee. You've got to get up and knock on the door. No bended knees anywhere. That was like such a simple, strong, clear, effective metaphor for Fleur, you know, hello, Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem, saying, ladies, you want to build a business? Get up and hustle, right? No bended knees. And to open with that and to finish with Sarah Tuttle Singer talking about the gold that is the gold in the crack between the former life and perhaps the life that you're making here, or the little broken parts of us that make us unique and valuable, was what a way to open and what a way to close. Extraordinary. So, Nathalie, for yourself, between that glorious, strong opening and that poetic, rich song to Jerusalem with which you finished, what were your own like highlight moments, or just what comes top of mind? I know you loved everybody, so it's not about who was better, but what was just like delicious.
So first of all, I love what you picked. I think that those were really highlight moments. I think I loved hearing Fleur talk about leadership in politics. I think she was very honest and very, she said it's not for everyone, and I like that. I like the fact that she was very honest and she had a right balance between, you still have to fight, but you still, you know, stay a woman and stay in your feminine dimension. That is, you know, what, that was a strong moment, because I did think about going into politics, and I had my my journey into politics, and it was very I think aligned for me to hear Fleur talk about that. Andy made me cry. Actually, I was giving the interview, and she actually brought tears to my eyes, because she was really, we were talking about you know, the mindset that has to be shifted, specifically for people who have to make a big change. And I just realized while I was talking to her, when she was talking, when I was asking her that question, I just realized because I don't know if everyone knows, but I did work in the Aliyah world. I did work with the Jewish agency, with the Misra Klita. I was a consultant at the time. And this was my fight. Not everyone was listening to me because I didn't have a lot of power of influence at the time. But I kept on saying, we have to help people connect to their Jewish identity. We have to help people change their mindset, not just give them dry information. And when Andy was talking about it, I realized that this is exactly what we were doing. And that moved me because this is what I believe. I believe that if we want to help people change or make any big decisions in their lives, we have to start from the root. And that really moved me because I was like, yes, we're doing it. We're creating that platform where this dialogue, this conversation can happen. And I was really moved by that. And I love how Andy speaks, and everyone was really impressed with the way how articulate she is and how she says things really in the right way. The right way meaning with the right words. And I had someone, and Justine. I think Justine, with when she spoke about, I mean, you hear this woman just announcing that she, did this, helped or was the actor in this IPO on the same day, and at the same time she's saying, I don't like Excel. Where where would you hear such a thing? Like at the same time she says that, and she says, don't worry if you're dyslexic, and don't worry if you can't do this, but you, and I saw a lot of comments where people said, yeah, me too, I'm not good at this, but I know how to connect people. And I think Justine, because of where she is allowed, quote unquote, everyone is allowed, but I think that, she has credibility to be able to say, don't worry, you can, get to the top, even if you're dyslexic or even if you don't know how to read. No, I'm sure she knows how to read Excel, but you don't like to read Excel. Yeah. So I think that those were the moment. And Sarah was just, like you said, like a poem. It was just so sweet and so from the heart and so spiritual. I just love the way we ended on that note. I think it was really beautiful.
It was. I'll share that in the chat. Somebody also says that Andy made us all teary-eyed, and I'll share that in another group that I'm involved with. Somebody else there also said Andy made me cry. So Andy, I think we understand you've invested in Kleenex, and you're trying to increase consumption out here. And we are. We want to hear more about perhaps was there a spiritual takeaway? Was there a business takeaway? So this was like Bigadol, like written large, moments that particularly moved you. And I'll ask again to anybody who's listening right now, or even if you listen in the replay, to ask, what was one thing that I loved? What was a moment that spoke to me, that lifted me up or resonated with me? Like one of your favorite moments, not the one, but one of, right? And did you learn something about business? Was there something that you took away where you're like, now I know how to do my business even better, Nathalie?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So for those of you who know me, I'm the queen of the niche, right? I always speak about the niche. I find your niche, and because for me, this is very much in alignment with you're born to do, with what you're supposed to do, and what you want to bring into the world. And so finding your niche and sticking to your niche is for me the best strategy. And I think I had the biggest lesson here with the summit because, like I said, I'm working, serving men and women. I'm serving and working with Jews and non-Jews, but having to choose. And I had this, many people were really, surprised that I chose to write in big, Global Online Leadership Summit for Jewish women entrepreneurs. Now, this was bold. And I realized, because like I said, at every stage, you realize it a different way. I realized how choosing your niche is a bold move. It's something that you have to be ready to make. And so I even, decided to shift. And you know that, Helen, because you are in the group. I decided to shift the online networking group that we had for the last few months, and seeing the need for networking, seeing the need for connection, seeing the need for collaborations between all these women, I just had to, you know, pause and ask myself and really, like, you know, consider applying to myself what I'm, you know, teaching other people to do, is to say, okay, if I'm looking inside myself and I'm being honest, what is really in alignment with myself right now? What is really in alignment with what I want to offer, with my vision, which is not in the long-term vision we'll see in, you know, in 2 years or in 5 years. What do I want to do now? And the answer was clear. The answer is that I really want to empower and I really want to help women, specifically Jewish women. And some people ask me, why Jewish? And I said, because this is where my heart is. This is where my soul is. And yes, I'm able, and I have been helping non-Jews, and like I said, and men, and I have clients that are men and non-Jewish, but it's not what you can, it's what you really want. And so this has been bold because I had to, you know, write an email saying, you know, the online networking will only be for women. And so you feel like you're pushing away people and you're saying, but I'm supposed to serve and help everyone. How can I say no to someone? How could I say, no, you cannot come to this group? Because that's also what we've been fighting for, right? We don't want exclusion, we want inclusion. So on the one hand, there was the alignment, and on the other hand, there was, but I need to make a choice. And this is something that I've learned on myself, that you have to be bold. You have to really go inside and check it, and you have to see what is really aligned. This was a big lesson for me, and saying now that I will boldly and bravely say that I want to serve Jewish women around the world, you know, is my mission, and this is what this summit allowed me to do. So I'm very grateful.
Amazing. Natalie, I'll share that something I enjoyed particularly about your answer just now was that this event that you envisioned, that you brought us all to, that you promoted so beautifully with the help of so many others who you gave public credit to just now, who you gave recognition to and acknowledged their efforts to support this vision of yours, which is completely appropriate and respectful. I loved that it pushed you to do for yourself what you coach others to do, to dig down, to define your niche, to do all of those like business things that we're asked to do, right? Define your niche, be bold, step up, envision, create a community, drive and expand, you know, face your fears, move out of your comfort zone, get clear, take risks, all of those things that are part of your coaching practice with the people that you support. You were like, damn, oh, what? Say what? I have to do it for myself now. And you pushed yourself, and the result was the creation of this thing that was still hard, that was still a stretch, that was still challenging, that still filled you with fear and brought you to the next level, which is exactly what the coaching journey is all about. And you did it with the creation of this community that you led and supported you at the same time, which is also what coaches like yourself do. They help people go bigger and support them while they do it.
Definitely. And I would add to this, this is beautiful the way you're reframing this. And I would add also that it's, you know, when you're helping someone step up to the next level, you see the next level for them. I'm sure that you know, and people that are coaches here and that help others know what I'm talking about, is that it's easier to see it on the other person. Like when I'm coaching someone, I see the level. I just want to say, but look, this is in front of you. You see it. But what was amazing is that for me was that the summit, I did not see it coming. That's what it is. It's like you don't see it coming. I knew that this is what I wanted to do, but to be really honest, what I wanted to offer at the end of the summit was for everyone to participate in my retreat, which is happening in January. And this was the strategy. This was the initial strategy. And come join my retreat. And we had this whole plan. And I'm also saying, because you said that I quoted everyone, but I didn't quote my two amazing team members, Anastasia and Giovanna. I don't know if you're listening right now, but they have been amazing. I for sure would not have been able to do this without them. And so when we had our, strategy meeting before the summit, it was clear that, you know, what we wanted to offer was, you know, participate to the retreat. But I had to change in the middle of my course. And this is also a lesson in strategy. It's like, you think that your strategy is, you know, all clear and all, you know, very, you know, straight in front of you, but you also have to, you know, be aware of what's happening, and you know, touch base with the you know, the event that is happening. And when I saw the organic growth and everyone so really committed and everyone wanting and meeting, I said, we need a network. We don't need a retreat. I mean, we're doing the retreat, but before that, we need a network. We need a place where people can connect. And so I switched in the middle, and we had to work really hard to just switch everything in the middle. And I said, we really have to offer this network so that women can connect. And yes, I will have to say to the men that we're in the network before, that this is now, from now on, a network just for women. And I wrote, I hope, a beautiful email explaining how I had to, you know, align with what I felt was what I had to do. And everyone responded very beautifully and said, yes, we understand. And so this networking is, who's saying we're listening? Is it Anastasia or Giovanna? I don't see the comment. Oh, it's Anastasia. Anastasia is saying we're listening.
Anastasia, smiley face, we see you.
So yes, so the biggest business lesson that I will share here is that you can wait for events in life to coach you or to teach you, but better to take someone, because I know that this summit is teaching me something, but you know, at the same time that I have to do it. And so there are things that you cannot see on yourself. You just cannot see it. And I did not see this coming. I did not see this coming. And so I know that someone else could have seen it, or maybe saw it, or maybe will see it. And I am coached. I have a coach. But still I didn't see it coming. So I think it's amazing to be always surprised, and to let ourselves be surprised, and to go with where, you know, and the intuition and the people are calling you. So that's my lesson.
Really beautiful. I will share that from my perspective. I love that you said, I not only did I need help from a community and from the professionals who have done an outstanding job, who you employ and work with you and have done extraordinary work, and even like listening now and putting smiley faces just now for you, because they love you as well as working with you. I love that you said, and I needed professional support, that you shared that you got coached in preparation for this session. Is, for me, it's another way of sharing your vulnerability and your desire to grow and go bigger. I'll share that for me. Recently, I had a really significant meeting with a significant company, and I got coached by a communications consultant. You know, I am a communications consultant. It's what I do. I listen to people. I listen well. I listen hard. I help people shape text. Blah, de, blah, de, blah. I was like, this is so important to me. I'm going to get coached, because we need support. So for me, hearing you share that, like that helps set you up for success. It makes me feel also really good about saying, I really want to be successful. Heavens knows. Like, you understand the value of coaching, right? You coach people. I understand the value of working with a communications consultant. That's what I do. So when my rubber was about to hit the road, I'm like, I'm going to work with somebody as well. So perhaps that's an additional takeaway for everybody here who is listening tonight, or maybe is going to, you know, do hashtag replay if they listen to it another time, is to say, you know, if you are a website or a, you know, visual designer and your website isn't up to scratch, get support. If you are a coach and you're not moving your business forward, get a coach. If you are a mentor of some kind, or a social media manager, and you feel like you're not like hitting it get a social media manager to consult with. You know, I think that is a profound recommendation about how to. Another way to go bigger is it doesn't have to be on your own. It's about building a strong interpersonal community. you know, just for the fun of it, but also for the professional need that we have. We want to go bigger. Let's invest in really going bigger, also for ourselves. Nathalie, that for me is a beautiful takeaway from my time with you this evening. Is there something that you would like to add before we wrap it up for this evening? What are your final thoughts about this event? And perhaps share with us in a really clear way next steps.
Next steps is really clear. My dream is going on, and that doesn't have to be a dream. Just like we know, it doesn't have to be a dream, because what I want is, I want a group of women that are networking and exchanging and creating that bridge between women entrepreneurs, you know, in Israel and Jewish women entrepreneurs around the world. I feel like this is what's going to bring not only more people in Israel, but this is what's going to bring the light into the world. And this is from this collaboration that things are going to happen. And so for that reason, that's what I said. I had to shift my strategy to create this global online business network, which is going to be for Jewish women around the world. And I invited everyone, and everyone received in their email, and you will receive even more reminders until next week, next Wednesday, September 9th, where we have the first meeting of the global. We had networking meetings before, and you were part of it. And so we already had those networkings, but now I want to really make it global. I want to really include people, and we already have people that registered from the United States, from Europe. And so to make it a global group that we can really help and support each other. I know that Jewish women entrepreneurs here in Israel, they want to go global. I know that we all want to go global. And I know that the Jewish women entrepreneurs around the world, they want to be connected with Israel. So there is a win-win, there is a connection, there is a collaboration to be made here. And this online network, and because of the corona, now everyone agrees to do networking online. It's now accepted, because before I had the same idea, but I didn't see how people always wanted to have local networking or, you know, physical networking. But now it's accepted. And so the idea is really to join the network. It will have a Facebook group, a closed Facebook group where we could exchange. It will have opportunity to make presentation of your business. It will have an opportunity to collaborate, to exchange, to do strategic partnership. And I'm sure there is a lot of business and exchange to be done between, between Israel and the rest of the world through women entrepreneurship.
Absolutely beautiful. Somebody has just popped a absolutely beautiful comment into the chat. Yes. She shared publicly, so I think that it's okay to share it, read it out loud here. Like the principle, firstly, that it doesn't have to be on our own, but we do have to step up to the plate and make that step ourselves, just came in. And Rita Shapiro says she had a light bulb moment during the third speaker yesterday, that she's had a fear of failing. Rita, honey, you and everyone else, and if you're breathing and you're here tonight, chances are you've had some kind of fear of failing. And stepping up and making changes that would allow me to be of service to others and share my life's experiences in a positive way. This summit has shifted and lifted me up. Sister, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that publicly here. I'm going to invite everyone who is online for us right now, and I've got no idea who's here because I can't see. Thank you so much, StreamYard. You have some work to do. I invite everybody here to send Nathalie some love. Send Nathalie some love. Send this woman some love. If you took anything away from the interviews that you listened to, if there was a moment that resonated with you, if there was a thought that struck you, Nathalie Garson made that possible for you. Wow. So this is an appropriate way for us as the people who have participated in a more passive way in the gifts that you have shared, Nathalie, to say thank you for lifting us all up. Thank you for helping us all be recognizing the vulnerable and the gold in all of us. Thank you for creating a community. Thank you for making all of this possible online safely, globally, and helping us embrace the feminine global in all of us. Thank you so much.
Wow. Helen, you're touching me. I think that you're just like becoming my first highlight of the whole summit.
Baby, hey!
Just like this.
I'll do that. Anastasia, I invite you to put another smiley face in the chat. Apparently that's you. Feel free. Feel free.
Wow, and Rita just came up with a hashtag.
Wow, that works.
Thank you so much. I think that we're all, I mean, again, you know, we're all growing together. And if I'm able to do this and everyone, you know, grows together, then this is the best reward. But thank you so much for putting words on this, Helen. And I love this idea that we had to do the behind the scene. I think that it's you know wraps up the event and it really gives it a whole different flavor. So thank you so much. Thank you for being part of the community, and thank you for knowing how to use the right words. Like, well said, exactly. Amen to those great words. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we will be in touch. We will be in touch because we're only starting this global network, and we have work to do. So we will just be in touch and continue to be part of this global feminine network. I love that. Amazing. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye for now.
Thank you, Ellen.